So in this video, I'll be doing unboxing, setup and review of the Ledger Flex, one of the newer offerings that Ledger have added to their lineup, adding some more expensive options with larger screens. I've definitely become a fan of devices with larger screens, and that's been a big focus of a lot of my DIY stuff of late. That said, I think devices like the Cold Card Q illustrate that a larger screen does not always actually make it easier to read, but I'm really curious to see what Ledger have done here with these e-ink displays. Last thing I'll mention in terms of transparency is I bought this device with my own money, no freebies here, so let's get into it. And if you haven't already done so, hit subscribe, and that way you can stay in the loop for content I make to help you find your way in the crazy and often hostile environment that is cryptocurrency. Okay, so this is how it comes in a box. Just got some seals, top and bottom, some standard sort of information on the bottom. So let's open it up. All right, so this is everything that came in the box. We've got an instruction manual. We've got 3 recovery sheets, which are nice and big with just, simple instructions. Don't share it, lose it, or digitize it. This is your secret. So that's nice. We've got a USB to USB-C cable, and then here we have the Ledger Flex itself. We'll just peel that off there. They've got a power button, a USB-C port on there, and that is all. And in terms of a size comparison, it's about the same height as a Ledger Nano X, though it is actually thinner. Definitely quite a bit bigger than something like a Trezor Safe 5, but yeah, thickness actually is about the same. So definitely still something you could fit in your pocket, though definitely not really something you put on your keychain. Not that I think putting this on your keychain is a good idea anyway. So let's just power this thing on and see what happens. Oh, there we go, made a little beep. Tap to continue. Okay, so this e-ink screen is a touch screen. It is really, really nice and clear. It gives a little click sound when you go. Gives some instructions about your private keys. Ledger Flex generates and protects your private keys. Yep. Basically it's giving us a little ad and description about what this device does. And look, while we could do the setup on mobile, I will just do it on desktop. But anyway, I'll just say Ledger Live Desktop. So the next thing it wants us to do is install Ledger Live. Okay, so I've actually just got a fresh install of Windows 11 here. And if we open up Microsoft Edge and go to ledger.com/start, this is what we are presented with. So I'll just say I want to download for Windows. And once we've downloaded that, we'll just run it. And I'll just follow all of the defaults. And there we go, run Ledger Live. Okay, so we're in Ledger Live. I'll just say get started. I have to accept all of the terms. And now we select which device we have. I'll just say I have the Ledger Flex. Connect your Ledger Flex to your computer with a USB cable. Okay, well, I'll just plug that in. There we go, connected to Ledger Flex. So it's going to do a genuine check to make sure what we've got is the real deal. There we go, so allow. Right, update Ledger Flex OS. So basically it's just telling us this needs a firmware update before we do anything else. So we'll just do that. Install update. So now we confirm the installation over here on the Ledger Flex. Okay, so we're back. This restarted. I accidentally closed and restarted Ledger Live, but it's done the genuine check and now we're up to date. So let's run through the setup. So we'll just give this a name. I'll just call this demo. There we go. Tap to continue. Choose a pin, 4 to 8 digits. Wrong pin 3 times, it wipes it. Yep, just like a normal ledger. I'll just go with 1, 2, 3, 4, just for the sake of the video. There we go, pin set. All right, secret recovery phrase. So I'll set up as a new ledger. Get the recovery phrase, 24 words. And this is important, your recovery phrase is your wallet. This just stores it. Anyone who knows it can steal your funds. Never take pictures, never enter it into a mobile phone or computer. Only this device, I understand. Get ready to write down the words. Okay, so let's do that. We'll get one of these nice large recovery sheets. Now, I'm just going to write these words down on here. These words are not case sensitive, so I'm just going to write them in uppercase just to make sure they're extra clear. And actually, I would suggest using a pencil rather than a pen. Can also be good, just in case this gets wet. But let's write those down. So we've written that out, so we'll say next. And now we're going to confirm the words are all correct. Alright, so we verified that this backup is correct, so pretty much we would take this and store this in a secure place. Your seed is your wallet, so tap to continue. Your secret phrase is for your eyes only. Don't share it, don't lose it. There we go. So now we are done. So basically we've done this step here that it had over in Ledger Live, so I'll just tap to continue on here, continue setting up in Ledger Live. Your Ledger Flex now needs apps so you can transact, so we'll just install them now. So by default it's just installing Bitcoin and Ethereum app. And there we go. Ledger Flex is ready. Tap to continue. Now you're in control. It's trying to upsell us to buy Ledger Recover just in case we lose our recovery seed or mess it up or something like that. I'm not going to worry about that for now, though I probably will have a look at it at some point in the future. And basically just gives us some options. So first thing we'll do is let's just see what happens if I say transfer assets to Ledger. So first I want us to add an account. I'll just say Bitcoin and say continue. Unlock your Ledger Flex and retry. Okay, so I press the power button, which prompted us for the PIN. Nice big PIN entry keypad. And that PIN entry process was much nicer than just using the 2 buttons on a Nano X. This e-ink screen is really nice, including the touchscreen just works really well. So I've unlocked that, so let's just say retry. It's given me a little beep to draw my attention over here, which is nice. So now we're in the Bitcoin app. And I'll just say add account, and I will say done. I would have expected that to take us into the account screen, but now we just need to say I'll do this later. So this is the portfolio balanced. If we click on accounts, we can actually see that account that we just added through that process just there. And we can actually do the same thing and add more accounts for any of the supported coins or currencies that we like, and we can do this at any time. So let's just send some Bitcoin there. So I'll just click on that one there and just say receive and say continue. And let's see, it should show me the address on the Ledger Flex here. So it's just beeped at me to get my attention, which is nice. So swipe to continue. Okay, so there is the address, and this is a nice big screen actually, so I can firstly confirm that the address matches what I'm seeing over here on Ledger Live, but this screen also is big enough to be able to just show a QR code. So I can just scan this straight off here without even scanning a QR code off my computer. Okay, so I've just sent those funds straight to this QR code, so I'll just close that, and I'll just confirm this on here. Address verified, and then this is all happy too. I'll just say done. Now we should wait for a second. We should actually see that unconfirmed transaction show up. There we go. So that transaction has just showed up in Ledger Live, and we can see it is there, but it is still unconfirmed. So it's a bit later now. Those funds are confirmed. So let's just run through the workflow for sending some Bitcoin. So I'll just say send. Scan the QR code. Say continue. I'll just send max. Say continue, continue. Okay, so it's prompting us to open the Bitcoin app, exactly the same as any other Ledger device. Let's have a look at the detail it shows us when we confirm it. Review the transaction, yep. This is brilliant. Actually, just for comparison's sake, I've actually got a Nano X and the Flex here side by side for a very similar Bitcoin transaction. Even just simple stuff like if we compare the font size and the clarity of the address that we're sending to, this is just much nicer, really big, really clear, and easy to see what you're doing. So I'll just swipe through on that, hold to sign. Okay, so it's not just a single button, so you've got to press and hold to sign. So you're not going to accidentally sign when you're flicking through menus. And there we go. So that is signed, and now Ledger Live is broadcasting it. Let's just go here onto my Ledger, because I just want to see how much space this actually has on it for apps. Right, so this has a capacity of 1.1 megabytes, whereas this Ledger Nano X that I've got here actually has more space on it, 1.75. So that's interesting that they've actually shipped one that has less capacity than the Nano X, though 1 meg is still very usable. Okay, what else can we do? Oh, that's interesting. So we can actually change the language, which is really nice, because for the longest time, a lot of these hardware wallets were English only. So we can actually change it into any of these languages here, which is excellent. And we can also add a lock screen picture. There we go. So let's confirm crop. We can choose how we want the grayscale to look. That's nice. So it actually does a pretty good job of that. The device is locked. So hang on. Too slow for all these things. Retry. There we go. Confirm that we're doing the picture. Aha, nice. Lockscreen picture is set. So if I press the power button to lock it, there we go. Alright, so that's there. We can also change the name of the device, and again install any of the other apps that we want, as long as there's capacity on the device. And again, unless you've got like thousands and thousands of altcoins, 1 meg should be heaps. Regardless of which coins you're having, the other apps that are really good to know about is Security Key. It lets you use this device as a hardware authenticator, which is a very powerful feature. And the other app that is really, really worthwhile is Recovery Check. So basically, the Recovery Check app allows you to run through that same process we used to verify that you hadn't made any mistakes transcribing the seed. And basically, you would want to use Recovery Check anytime that you make a copy of your seed onto, say, metal plates or another paper copy or something like that. You can just run through Recovery Check. It'll ask you to enter in your 24 seed words on this device, not on the computer. I won't run through this right now. I'll just say quit app. So let's also see what other settings we have on this device. So we can basically see the name and change that. We can find out information about the hardware version, serial number, and software. We can customize the lock screen and probably change the lock time. I'll just crank that up for 10 minutes just for the sake of the video, just so it's not locking on me all the time. We can also turn auto lock on and off. You definitely want to leave auto lock on. So we'll go back. There we go. We can change the sounds. So there's the tap sounds notification sounds. We can change the language on here. So that happened. It just tells us here that happens in my ledger. What else can we do? Oh, yep. So we can change the pin for this specific device. We can change the Bluetooth pairings and NFC. Okay. The main NFC use case is the passkey authentication on these devices with the Security Key app. So let's just say use a different device, NFC Security Key. There we go. So that actually does work right now as a NFC authenticator, in addition to being able to use it over USB or Bluetooth. So yeah, the Security Key app is really nice. So we can also find, in the settings, we can also find battery, and we can actually say always display battery percentage if we want, or auto power off, so it auto powers off after 5 minutes. And we can go into advanced. Oh yes, this is where we'd find BIP39 passphrase, which is hidden basically behind some warnings probably. Oh yes, there we go. So enter the passphrase. This time we actually get a little keyboard on here, which is definitely nicer than just the 2 buttons that we're used to on a ledger. So if I just say test. Yeah, and the other thing is I would say here, if you're using passphrase, you don't just want to memorize it, you need to write it down, because your passphrase essentially becomes part of your seed, and if you forget it, you're stuffed. So I'll just say yes, that's correct. Oh yeah, okay, no, so this is a nice scary looking warning. Forgetting your passphrase will lock you out of your funds. Say I understand. And then you have to go through and enter the PIN again. Okay, no, that's definitely, I think that's sufficiently scary to stop someone accidentally stumbling into that. And then we can say get ledger live, and then we can also just reset the device. I'll just quickly run through the process of pairing this with a mobile. So I'll just say add with Bluetooth. Got to allow ledger live to do these things. There we go, so there's demo. That's this device here. We can check that those pairing codes match. Ledger Flex is paired. Here we go, so I'll just say add an account. I'll actually just say use Ledger Sync, because that basically just lets me export the wallet straight off my PC based wallet into here, or if I don't have that, I could just use the Ledger device to directly get the accounts off there. But I'll just scan the QR code from PC. So I'll click here on accounts, I'll click here on the little dot on the top corner and say sync accounts. Turn on Ledger Sync. Oh no, this is different again. Ledger Sync is different again. It's actually installing the Sync app on these devices and syncing them through here, which is really nice. This is actually a new feature. I haven't seen this one before. Ah, brilliant. So this is actually using this device to remember which accounts are on here. And this was always a bit of a nuisance when you had Ledger on multiple computers or multiple phones. Whereas this is nice. The device itself is actually keeping everything in sync. use this account to sync. There we go. So sync with another Ledger Live app. Okay, so basically now I'll get my phone and I'll scan that QR code. Enter Ledger sync code. Oh yeah, so it's giving me the code here. Right. Hang tight. Okay, so it's actually syncing now between the phone and the computer, and this is actually very different to how it used to work. It used to show you a whole bunch of QR codes and manually push the data to the phone in the QR codes, whereas now it's actually syncing. Looks like this one was through the cloud, but it also looks like I can directly pull the info off this device somehow as well. Hang on a minute, I'll just try this on another phone. Okay, so I've got an iPhone here. So let's just add our ledger. So we'll add ledger. Connect an existing ledger, we'll do demo. We'll pair the iPhone with it. So yes, these numbers match. Pairing with demo, so we've done that. So add account, use ledger sync. I'll say use my ledger device rather than using the QR code I scanned before. So I'll just say demo. Open the ledger sync app. Connect to Ledger Sync, yes. Turn on sync for this phone or computer, yes. Sync successful. There we go, and there's that account now on here as well. So that actually is quite nice. So that actually synced it using this device here, rather than having to manually scan a whole bunch of QR codes to export them from the PC. So I've actually got this both on these two phones and on the computer. So the question is, if I add a new account on here, will it auto-magically get pushed to the other ones? And I'll say I want to add an account, and I'll use my Ledger device. And let's just add an Ethereum account. Let's give this a name, because I want to see if Ledger Sync carries the names across. Continue. There we go. See your assets. So I've got nothing there. And look, I'll just send some ETH there as well. Oh, so that account actually just auto-magically popped up on the computer, and it preserved the account name. That is beautiful. Oh, there we go. And it's actually popped up on this phone as well. So it's actually auto-magically synced the accounts between all my different Ledger Live instances, and it has preserved the account names on all of the devices. So this feature is actually brand spanking new. It's only been out for about 2 months. Okay, so the Ledger Sync app is basically creating an encryption key. So that encryption key is then used on your device to be able to do an end-to-end encrypted sync between all of the different pieces of wallet software. So it seems to work on all their devices down to the Nano S Plus. So a really nice feature to be able to keep track of what you're storing in different accounts under which names, as well as making it really easy to move from an old hardware wallet onto a new one and not lose all of that information in the process. The number of people I do recoveries for who just end up getting confused about which accounts had which funds and what was even on the device is enormous. So again, this is a fantastic feature to make the device really user-friendly. And the last thing I'll check is third-party wallets like Sparrow. So the question is, if I go into Sparrow and just grab any random wallet and say connect, will it find it? Ledger Flex. Oh yes, I'm going to open the Bitcoin app first. This looks promising though. So we'll just click scan again. There we go. Import key store. There we go, so that just worked. Won't worry about the password. And if I go in here and hit receive and say display address, it should prompt me to register the Multisig account on here, because Ledger devices now all support stateful Multisig, which is very, very good. Alright, so yes, there's the descriptor. It lets me see the cosigner keys as well, with the full descriptors for each one, which is fantastic. Approve. Great. So basically this gives me full hardware-backed receive address verification for a multi-sig wallet, which is very, very good. excellent. So this works just out of the box with Sparrow or your other favorite Bitcoin wallet of choice, and supports full stateful multisig if you're someone who wants that, which can give you full hardware-backed receive address verification. Very important if you're someone who wants to use multisig securely. And the last thing I noticed when I was using this as an NFC security key is there's actually a magnet on the back here along the bottom there, and it's strong enough to hold itself in place depending on the orientation, but if you sort of go completely upside down, it'll just fall off. So again, useful to be able to store it, I suppose. Okay, summary time. So the Ledger Flex is a really great addition to the Ledger lineup in that it takes a lot of the strengths that Ledger have brought to the market in terms of ease of use, emphasis on documentation and so on, and really improves the user experience over, say, a Nano S or a Nano X through the addition of a large, really clear e-ink display. The nice little noises and chirps that it makes to get your attention when you need to do something is great, and the sort of touchscreen interface for it and the way all of it behaves is really very similar to any smartphone, meaning that someone who is familiar with using a smartphone is going to have no problem at all comfortably and confidently using something like a Ledger Flex without having to learn or relearn an entirely different interface that's dependent on buttons and keys and things that they're probably not using anymore anywhere else in their life. And while some folk may not be comfortable with Ledger devices, both because of parts of their ecosystem being closed source or because of the way they handled the whole Ledger recover situation, or the fact that that feature even exists, that is completely understandable. But at the same time, the reality is that Ledger still, in my opinion, offers the most polished experience in the entire ecosystem in terms of ease of use, both for the hardware and the software, and the way that they sort of step you through everything together. It's also worth being clear that Ledger is not only for beginner users. In advanced functionality like BIP39 passphrases, like multisig, or having DeFi transaction decoding that just kind of works, is all the kind of stuff that can be really helpful for people trying to do advanced stuff. And again, the reminder here with Ledger is that because of the way that all of the API and software around their operating system that's running on the devices itself is still open source, it's possible to actually use a Ledger device with completely third-party software, and when you use that in conjunction with a passphrase, to be able to use it completely trustlessly, a very different approach from other closed source vendors that also lock you in to using software provided by that same vendor. I've added the Ledger Flex onto my hardware wallet comparison website. You can see all of the features and how it scores here. If you think a Ledger Flex would help boost security of your setup and want to help me on the process, there'll be an affiliate link in the description. Other than that, if you have any questions about the device or any experience using it, just leave a reply in the comments. I'll do my best to reply to all of them. Other than that, stay safe. Thanks for watching. I hope that was helpful. Hit like if you think that other people would find this video useful, and hit subscribe if you'd like to be kept in the loop about future content I make that helps people stay safe in the crypto space and to recover if they get into trouble. If you have any questions about this video or a topic that you'd like me to cover, just leave a reply.